Good morning, Brooklyn Ranch M9. Tennis Cash, happy Monday. Is right here live on the Ranch M9 Tennis Hour brought to you by Reliant Bank. Reliant Bank is your small town bank with a modern banking twist, whether it's a home loan, a student loan, a car loan, and just a good old fashioned savings account. Reliant Bank's got you covered. We did a great show coming up today, 11:30. We're talking to our favorite Irishman, former Major League Soccer coach and now director of soccer here for the Sodak Spurs. He joins us live in studio right at 11:30, talking about his return back from Ireland. He was in Ireland the last month and a half. He's back, and we're going to get caught up with him again. It'll be a lot of fun talking to Coach Molly as he is back in the States and kicks off here again for winter season as we begin the spring planning for their summer tour. And then joining me in the next 60 seconds, we got Coach Tim Weidenbach joining us from Higher Power Sports. Coach, we've looking forward to talking to him and what's been an emotional couple weeks for him as new pickups and continuing to grow the impact of Higher Power Sports across our state. Again, this is the Sports Show on the Ranch, AM 910. Happy Monday to you. I'm going to pop the opening music down here because I'm not in a very good mood today. And I'm just going to address it now as Coach weaves up. For all you that texted me last night and this morning, I apologize if I haven't gotten back to you. The trash talk was immense for the last 24 hours. Yes, my 49ers lost. It was heartbreaking. And I think, I was talking to Mom this morning about it because I was upset last night. I'm going to tell you the honest truth there. Coach Tim is listening right now, so he'll be able to throw his 2 cents in on this. I'm a very passionate guy. I invest in everything I do. So, whether it's a church youth group or a football team or whatever it may be, once it comes to an end, I'm upset. Last night after that game, I was in tears. I had no shame. Now, I wasn't bawling, but there were some tears because I feel connected. I've been an Irish since I was 6. So the game ends, and I'm not even kidding you. After 2 seconds after that pick was thrown by Jimmy Garoppolo to end the game, my phone, Coach Weeds, was going bonkers. Bing, 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 bing. It's a million texts. And this morning it continued. And I haven't gotten back to probably a lot of listeners that text me right now. It's probably all trash talk, but just in really, really, you know how it is, Coach. I mean, you coach college. You know what it's like that the finale was going to come to an end. It's heartbreaking.
Absolutely. It's amazing how when you follow a team and you want a team to win, and how all of a sudden it becomes your team, even though you don't have a whole lot of say in anything that's going on, but it's your team, and when it ends, it's difficult. I was on a text conversation with a couple people, and one was a Chiefs fan yesterday, and I text back and I said, I don't know what the NFL is doing now because I'm a Viking fan. And, so the season ended a few weeks ago. So I don't even know what the NFL is doing. I said, at least in the preseason, they let the Vikings play in the preseason. So I don't know what this postseason stuff's all about anyway.
Real quick here before we continue, Coach, I don't know if you're on speakerphone or not. If you could, I don't know if it's on speaker or what, if you could move a little closer. We want to hear the beautiful voice of Tim Weidenbach of Higher Power Sports. Again, if you're just joining us, it's the Sports Branch and we got Tim Weidenbach on from Higher Power Sports. What was able to talk about? Tim, I guess I don't want to talk too much here. I want to let you tell your story. For those who don't know who you are, introduce yourself, a little bit about your background and what you currently do now, and just about the stories for years.
Yeah. Can you hear me better now?
A lot better.
Okay. Well, first of all, doesn't happen very often when somebody tells me to be louder. So we got that going for us on a Monday. But yeah, Higher Power Sports, I started it about 7 years ago. Coach for over 30 years now. I'm an old man, but just Higher Power Sports just started because there was something. I always say, God was tapping me on the shoulder for a long time, and that there was something out there that I needed to do. And I think he just finally, rather than tapping me on the shoulder, probably kicked me in the back of the head and said, it's time to get out and do this. And I started it, and it's been unbelievable ever since. With everything, there's highs and lows. good days and tough days and all those things. But at the end of the day, I hope that through Higher Power Sports, we're serving others and making a positive impact on people throughout the United States, mostly in the Midwest and especially here in South Dakota.
Quickly, for those who don't know the meaning and the purpose behind Higher Power Sports, I think it's really important to understand what you did before Higher Power Sports, what led you, because not everyone can be, in terms of a sport, connecting them with either with a religious background or you have a dearth of experiences. Take us through why Higher Power Sports started and what you did before Higher Power Sports.
Yeah, before Higher Power Sports, I was a coach. I've coached at all levels. I've coached, third grade girls basketball on up through high school. Coached both men and women at the college level, and also spent some time with the Sioux Falls Sky Force. So really all levels of coaching. Also coached different sports as well. I coached golf. I would spend some time as a golf professional, and also very few people know this, but I spent 1 year as a tennis coach too, and which was kind of shocking because I really don't know anything about tennis, but I was able to get the girls to the tennis matches safely, and so all kinds of coaching experience. And then Higher Power Sports just kind of grew from that through the experiences of dealing with the ups and downs of a season, of a program going through, trying to win games. Obviously, as a program, you're always trying to win the games, and that's what you're gearing up for. But as a coach, you understand quickly that there's so much more than winning games, and the preparation of the games is so important. But the building of lives that you're pouring into these kids' lives, and you're really impacting them way more off the court than you are on the court. And so it just kind of grew from there. And about 7 years ago, I took the leap of starting Higher Power Sports, and here I am today, still with Higher Power Sports, still the only one that's really involved in Higher Power Sports. I say that because I do most of the speaking and things like that, but there are so many people behind the scenes that support me and help me that I couldn't do without just a huge back of support that don't get recognized for, whether it's financially or my wife does a lot of the book work and all that stuff, and obviously all the financial contributions I get from people to help me go out and do the things I do.
Well, I think it's interesting because you went to a point that you were a college basketball coach, you coached the Skyforce, you do all these different things, and I think that when you're in a profession full time, you care about the athletes you're coaching, and I'm not saying you don't, but when do you think for you it really took more of a front center feel for you? When did you was there a certain time where you were coaching also, when you woke up, you're okay, I feel like I need to do more in terms of preparing people for their long-term life outside of sports?
Yeah, I was coaching at Dakota Wesleyan. I was the assistant basketball coach there for a few years, and personally, we were going through a tough time at our house. My wife's father passed away, and then it sounds crazy, but our dog passed away, all within about a week of each other. And then about a week later, within our program at Dakota Wesleyan, we had a grandfather of a player pass away. And then we had another player who had his father was in a car accident and had a traumatic brain injury. And then we also had, believe it or not, one of our players, his house burned down. And, we, as coaches, did the best things that we could, and, comfort and consoled him and counseled and all those things for those three gentlemen that week. But at the end of the day, it was always, okay, get on the line. And because we got a game on Saturday. So that just kind of pushed me to, I can help players and I can help coaches, since I know I know a lot about coaching and I know what the players are going through. So this kind of evolved from that. And, I just am really fortunate to have the contacts I do that I can now go into those situations where programs are having those difficult times and help them through that in a way that, again, the coaches do a great job, don't get me wrong, but they just don't have the time to do what I'm able to do in those situations, if that makes sense.
No, definitely. I think you nailed on the head. I think, as a coach, especially the full-time coach, coaching in college, your goal ultimately is to win games. You get judged if you win games. If you don't win games, you're probably going to be the chopping block, and that's the hard, cold reality of that profession. And as much as these coaches care for kids, it does look good to give away winning games. I think sometimes that the needs of kids can't always be fully met by people within the program because there's also a lot of other goals on hand too that they can't individually take so much time to invest in each player. That's where you come in. Even back in countless lines over the years, I think most recently the Meet the Trash via the Daphne and Manny as for Lefty was the most recent one I really think I can think recently of that you had a huge impact on. And then our sports science and all that, you're out in different high schools, college, universities, the talk to kids. Now some of that pickup thing, because I think it's important with only 10 minutes left. I want to really get into this because this is really cool. Take us through the need in terms of having a vehicle that works in good order. How many miles you put on, and kind of lay out what happened before this pickup came into the picture.
Yeah, so I always say that my vehicle is the second most important thing involved in higher power sports. And the most important thing is the leadership and guidance I get from my Lord and Savior. And but then after that, then I need a vehicle to get to these places and to pour into these young kids and these coaches in a special way. And over the past few years, I've been fortunate. Some people have donated vehicles, high mileage vehicles, and I've ran them into the ground, so to speak. And I was in the need for a new vehicle, and over the last couple months, I've been raising some money to purchase a new vehicle, and so that's kind of been out there. It's been out there that I needed a new vehicle, and on last Saturday, I had no clue what was going on, and but First Dakota is doing their 150-year anniversary, and they're giving away a couple F-150 pickups to commemorate that. And I was one of the fortunate ones to receive a pickup from a brand new 2021 pickup. It had about, 30 miles on it. So pretty special gift. And even now it's tough to talk about because first I get emotional, and second, when you get a gift like that, you hope you're worthy, but there are so many other people that are as worthy, and so you are humbled beyond belief.
Well, I remember when it came out that you had been selected or whatever, you had been received pickup. I was watching the video online when you were presented with it at Oklahoma's game, and I remember it made me tear up. It was just the moment was so unique and so special because I think there was so many people that had belief in it. Not only higher power sports, more importantly, the heart behind higher power sports, because I think you would agree that the heart is the key to all things. Take us through, how that came about. You walked us through that couple hours. Were you just going to the game to watch the game, and then you had no idea? Take us through the presentation of the pickup and the hours leading up to it.
Yeah, so I help a little bit at O'Gorman. I help coach their basketball team a little bit. So I showed up at the game playing Roosevelt. It was a great team, and they're ranked number 1, and O'Gorman's ranked number 2. And I walk into the gym, and there's a big screen kind of halfway over the state championship plaques. And right away, I'm like, what is going on here? Why would they have that covering on this big game? So I was, a little annoyed. But anyway, first half of the game goes well. I don't even remember. I think we're down a few points, but highly contested, very fun high school basketball game. And as I'm walking to the locker room, Steve Keeter grabs me and says, "Hey, somebody needs to talk to you." And right away, I'm a little annoyed because, I want to go to the locker room with the guys. And he goes, "No, you'll enjoy this." So I walk with him, and we go out of the gym, and I'm like thinking, well, maybe there's somebody's gonna, give me a donation of $100, and they just want to say, something very, very cool. Well, I get down in the hallway, and all of a sudden he takes me into a room that I've never been in. So I'm like, uh-oh, what's going on now? And we go into the shop, and we get down to the shop, and I see the cheerleaders are in the shop, and I'm like, oh, well, maybe it's a check for $500 for higher power sports. I'm getting more and more excited. Still more and more excited, but uncomfortable too, because I don't know what's going on. Well, I get down there, and there's a guy with a camera, and they tell me to stand here, and Mike Ness from First Dakota is standing there, and he introduces himself. And I'm like, oh, well, now I'm thinking maybe this is a check for $1,000. I'm thinking this is a big deal here. And anyway, we stand there for what seems like a half hour, which was probably only about 2 minutes, and nobody says anything. And I'm looking at the cheerleaders, and they're just laughing at me because they can tell I'm nervous and uncomfortable. And I noticed there's a black screen. And so then I'm thinking, okay, this is pretty cool. It's going to be, because some of my family was there, and I, didn't think anything of it. But then it started registering. Well, my family's going to be behind the screen with a check from First Dakota for $1,000. It's going to be awesome. And all of a sudden, they say, "You're on," and Mike Ness starts talking into the camera, and he, says, "Tim, you've been nominated for, 150 years. First Dakota is giving away some special prizes." And he reaches in his pocket and pulls out a set of car keys, and we would like to gift you this brand new Ford F-150 as part of our 150-year celebration. And if you know me, I'm not at a loss for words often. I was completely at a loss for words, and I just told him I can't say anything. I don't know what to say. I can't. And he's like, "You don't have to say anything." And he took me around the pickup and showed me some of it, which was awesome. And then they took me back into the gym, and everybody's there cheering. I was oblivious to that. They were showing it all on the screen that I was irritated at the beginning of the day. So everybody from both O'Gorman and Roosevelt stayed in the gym at halftime and watched this presentation. And then it was so special. When I came back in, they cheered, and I got a lot of high fives from the Roosevelt students. And if you've ever been to a Roosevelt game, there's a manager, a special needs kid named Scotty, and he's always given me a high five, and he came up and gave me a high five and this huge hug. And it was just a really special thing to be part of. And I can't thank First Dakota enough, and O'Gorman and Roosevelt, the way they treated me that night will never be forgotten for sure.
Did you have any inkling going into, I listened to your story, and we have Coach O'Brien from the Blackbirds soccer club here, and he's actually listening in with you. We were listening to the story, both looking at each other. I knew this was happening. I still, it leaves me the edge of my seat, like thinking, oh, you wouldn't have the next now. With your family, did you have any inkling whatsoever that this was going to go down that day? I mean, you go into the gym, I'm sure a couple hours of the game for a tip-off, go through pregame stuff. Did you ever have any idea from anybody this was going to go down?
Absolutely not. Now looking back, there were probably things I should have, it's some of my family showed up, but they show up to my games or to the O'Gorman games often. And, like one of my cousins, my cousin Brent, he showed up with his kids, and they come up once or twice a year. So I wasn't thinking anything of it. And his little girl even had a Roosevelt cheerleading outfit on. So, And I was okay with that, even though we're playing Roosevelt. But so it was way over my. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, so it's probably not that hard to fool me. But a couple of my aunt and uncle were there, but I didn't see them before the game. I saw them afterwards. So they did a great job of keeping it from me. And most of my family, only a couple members of my family actually knew what the prize was, that it was a pickup. Most of them just knew that I was getting an award of some sort, they were told. So they were as shocked as I was when they opened the screen and there's a pickup. So it was really, really well done. And again, I had no clue.
Now, knowing the guy you are, Tim, this is the same way I would feel too. I have a feeling if I were to be awarded a new pickup or something, anything of that value, I almost feel like honestly, it's going to be put to great use for higher power. I can only imagine the goals you have in mind now through higher power just to be just taking it to another level with this. But is there? I mean, I know the answer to this, but is there any do you feel like, I know you mentioned earlier, do you almost feel like unjustly given it? Like I know this is the heart you have. Like do you feel like there's a pressure to having this now, and then in the second poll, what's next for higher power sports after this?
Absolutely. Even now talking about it, and when I walk out my door and I see it in my driveway, it's you get that feeling of, wow, that's awesome. But then it's that feeling of am I worthy? Is there somebody else that needs this more than I do, type of thing. And I just hope that with this I can give back way more than, which is going to be really hard to do, let me tell you, way more than what that pickup is worth. I need to give back to others, more than that, which is going to be tough to do. But like you mentioned, it will be put to good use. It'll be put to donating. I can get a lot of donations for people in South Dakota, in Sioux Falls, Parks and Minnow trip that I've dropped stuff off for, and I do a lot of work down at Lower Brule. And also now, since this last week, I have a contact in Fort Thompson as well that they need some things. Yesterday I got a message. A lady has a couple dressers and a bed that I will be taking down to Fort Thompson for a family in need. So it'll get well used, let me tell you that. But every day it'll be a blessing. And I just hope, like I said, I hope people, when they see that pickup, they don't see, wow, that's a nice pickup. I hope they see, the good that First Dakota has done for me, and the good that everybody that's helping higher power sports, the good that we're doing and serving others.
The first thing you think of, Jim, and I'll read your quick, and then I know we're limited time, but the next thing of first out of Colossians. I'm sure people listening thinking, oh, it's sports show, but we talk about a lot of things, especially we talk about hair and food, diets, and my lack of cooking. But this verse is kind of exemplifies that thing, this pickup, and it's out of Colossians 3:23. It says, whatever you do, work heartily as for the Lord, not for men, knowing that from the Lord you will receive the inheritance as your reward if you are serving the Lord Christ. And I think that, there's many variations of that verse, but basically talks about God rewards those you put him first and do his work, and do it without expectation of reward. And I think that, this is an answer to prayer, and you can leave it on this, but is this something you've been praying about pretty fervently now for weeks? Is kind of one of those things that kind of came to fruition because of prayer?
Yeah, absolutely. Everything that we do is led by prayer. My prayer life is constant and ongoing. I spend a lot of time in my car, and now in the new pickup I will, traveling, and I do a lot of praying about everything. And that's one of the things for higher power sports that we always pray about is a reliable vehicle that we can get places to help and serve others. And higher power sports is a faith-based organization, but we're able to go into public schools and share a message that resonates well with them and well within the guidelines of public education. So we're very fortunate to and proud to be a faith-based organization as well.
And I don't see you before the summer. Tim, I believe Tim, but barring anything crazy, you will be at the campus last weekend in June here at Brookings. Looking forward to having higher power sports partners up here at Brookings, and it's gonna be an awesome summer. So.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on, and my plan is to be there for your camp this summer and keep doing great things. And appreciate your friendship and your willingness to serve others as well through everything that you're doing, Cash. Have a great day.